Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Very interesting choice of words coming from the Ukrainians on this Ukrainian front update. The Russians updated their site. You showed up at work on Friday. That's good. I know tomorrow you will be all gone fishing and Sunday, so I will have to use the Ukrainians only. So I will be lied by the Ukrainians only, not by both of you now. So the Ukrainians updated their whatever is going on, whatever site on Ukraine Forum, and here is the title. Very interesting choice of words here. War update: invaders unsuccessfully advancing in 4 sectors. I don't know, is it just me? I think it's invaders unsuccessfully advancing. So they're advancing or unsuccessfully advancing in 4 sectors. Anyway, I think it's weird, but that's me. It's 18th of August 2023. And we have the Russians right here, 18/8/2023. Wow, look at this. Not much. Right here, it's something is going on. So let's go to the Ukrainians. This is a different kind of updates coming from the Ukrainians. They were very short this time. I don't think things are going very well for them. Attempts by Russian troops to advance in Kupiansk, Liman, Bakhmut, and Avdiivka sectors were unsuccessful. The same areas. I don't see Marinka here. Oh, whereas in the Marinka sector, Ukraine's defense forces continue to hold back an enemy offensive. Wait a second. So these guys, they attempted, they were unsuccessful, and then in this one, they again tried to advance, but they were held back. So isn't this the same thing? Shouldn't be attempts by Russian troops to advance in Kupiansk, Liman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Marinka sectors were unsuccessful? Anyway, let me show you what those things are. So the Russians are advancing or try to advance in this area right here. This is the hottest spot on the war right now. This is Kupiansk. So let's see what the Russians are saying. Battle Group Zapad successfully repelled all attacks by Ukrainian troops using air and artillery strikes. And here is the same thing. But here's a drone, a Ukrainian drone downed. For my viewers who watch this regularly, they know that the blue little bullets here are Ukrainians shelling the Russians, the red ones are the Russians shelling the Ukrainians, the yellow ones are drones down by the Russians, artilleries, and the black ones is where supposedly the forces meet face to face. So let's go and read, not this one actually, this one. So the General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine said this in a post on Facebook, Ukraine Forum reports. According to the General Staff, 30 combat engagements took place across the front line throughout the day. Ukraine's defense forces continue their offensive operations in the Melitopol and Berdyansk sectors. Now that is right here. This is Berdyansk, right? Berdyansk is right here. Melitopol is right here. So this is Zaporozhye Oblast. This is where they try to break through the front, cut the Russians in two, and then destroy the Kerch Bridge right here. So the Russians supposedly will be isolated, and then they will just come here and invade and liberate people that don't want to be liberated. All right, let's move back to the Ukrainians. So the defenders are consolidating their positions and carrying out counter-battery measures. In total, throughout the day, Ukrainian aircraft carried out 9 strikes on the areas of concentration of personnel, weapons, and military equipment of the Russian army. Units of the Ukrainian rocket forces and artillery hit 2 areas of concentration of personnel, weapons, and military equipment. I know it's a little bit of sound here. 4 artillery pieces, 2 command centers, and 2 electronic warfare stations of the Russians. Throughout the day, Russian invaders launched a missile strike, 31 airstrikes, and 45 MLRS attacks on the positions of Ukraine's defense forces and populated areas, of course. So let's go to the Ukrainians. I'm going to put the map up because the Ukrainians were kind of like slackers so far. So I'm going to use the Russian. So let's see what happened here. The Ukrainians mobilized a lot of people here in Chernihiv or Chernigov by the Russians. Supposedly they're waiting for an invasion. Bryansk governor said that Ukrainian forces shelled the village. There were no casualties. The shelling partially destroyed 3 houses. So usually the Ukrainians, when they report the Ukrainians attacking, is only villages and civilians. They learned from the Ukrainians, right? See how many drones were down here in Belgorod. The governor said that the Russian air defenses shot down a Ukrainian drone over the city. There were no casualties or damage. Ukrainian forces also fired 4 mortar shells at the Shebekino border checkpoint. No one was wounded. And the other one right here. Russian air defense shot down a Ukrainian drone over the village. There were no casualties or damage. Let's see what the Russians did here. They say they did. Russian forces destroyed a Ukrainian ammunition depot very close to the border, don't you think? And here is, I said, a drone and this. So, now the second one is right here is Liman. Another point where the Russians are trying to break through. Let's see what happened here. Battle Group Center successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using air and artillery strikes. Let's see how many drones were destroyed here. One drone, and one drone. And we're going to move down here. The same thing, using air and artillery strikes, they repelled an attack. And we move a little bit south towards Artemovsk, which is right here. This is Bakhmut, called Artemovsk by the Russians. Let's see what happened there. Berstovoye. Battle Group Yug successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using airstrikes. Russian air defenses shot down a Ukrainian drone. Here, fighter jets of the Russian airspace forces shot down a Ukrainian Sukhoi 25 aircraft. Okay, here we go, right here. And we're going to move from Bakhmut area, we're going to move a little bit lower, south. Let's see here. Russian forces destroyed an ammunition supply point for the Ukrainian troops. And the same thing here. These are shelling the, as I said, civilian and villages. Again, what's going on here? This is the Avdiivka. Russian forces destroyed an ammunition supply point for Ukrainian troops. So this is Avdiivka. Battle Group Yug successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using air strikes. Yesterday, they said they were fighting inside the city. Now, you see this? That's not good for the Ukrainians. Just so you know, obviously. Marinka. Battle Group Yug successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using airstrikes. Vuhledar or Ugledar. Battle Group Vostok successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using aviation, heavy flamethrower systems, and artillery strikes. Now, interesting, the Russians repelled here. They didn't advance or anything. They say they attacked. They just repelled. And here, if you read the Ukrainians defended, and the unsuccessful attacks. Wasn't that the title? Right there. Invaders unsuccessfully advancing in 4 sectors. And I told you the 4 sectors are Kupiansk, Liman, Bakhmut, and they say Avdiivka. They didn't mention Marinka. They said Marinka, the other little thing. Now, this is Zaporozhye. This is where supposedly the Ukrainians are conducting their main counteroffensive. So, drones. Let's see how many drones. 1 drone down, 1 drone down. So, 3 drones down. Let's see here. This is an airplane right here. Russian air defenses shot down a Ukrainian Sukhoi 25 aircraft. A second one. And here a drone, another drone. And here, Russian forces successfully repelled 2 attacks by Ukrainian troops, as well as thwarted the activity of a Ukrainian sabotage and reconnaissance group. Russian air defenses shot down a Ukrainian drone. Nothing more. The Americans said, American intelligence agency said that the Ukrainians will not be able to fulfill their objective in the counteroffensive, which is cut them in 2 right here, Melitopol and Berdyansk. And the Ukrainians are all upset about it. And I covered that in another article where, again, the Americans, the military, and some guys from the Biden administration said, well, stop focusing on Crimean Peninsula, you're just wasting resources. Again, the Ukrainians angry about it. Here, just shelling, according to Russians, just Ukrainians shelling, let's pick this one, you see, city civilian infrastructure. And here, village, civilian infrastructure. So that's why I don't read these things. Let's see what happened here. I'm not aware of anything happening in Sevastopol. And usually this is where the Russians destroy something. What the hell? They destroy their own thing? Russia's Ministry of Defense said that the Black Sea Fleet ships, the frigate Pitlivi and patrol ship detected and destroyed, I covered this yesterday, an unmanned Ukrainian boat that tried to attack them 237 kilometers southwest of Sevastopol. So it's not here. I was like wondering, that is down here a little bit by Bosphorus Strait. So this is it. It seems like the Russians did their job. The Ukrainians went kind of fishing today, and they gave us this bullshit over there. Well, maybe they take a weekend off this time, celebrating, I don't know, the end of the summer. So, I covered different situations in previous videos today, so you can, on yesterday, you can check them out if you want the details on what's going on the front. This is an update coming from both liars. Pens on fire. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.